Well, Brian, it finished West Ham 2, Arsenal 2. The Gunners, for a second week in a row, take a 2-0 lead in a match and concede 2 more goals, and all of a sudden they drop 2 points 2 weeks in succession. It's not a great sign for a team chasing their first Premier League title in 19 years.
No, but the opposition in both games did their stuff. Liverpool obviously last week at home, very hard to get results at Anfield even in a bad season. And it was a tremendous game, and today's game was a repeat of that. It was very hard to see West Ham getting back into the game, given the bright start that Arsenal had. 2 goals up, playing well, got 2 very good goals, and were dominating possession. And at one stage it looked like West Ham defenders had cement on their boots, but they worked their way into the game. West Ham got a little break of the penalty. That gave them hope, but Arsenal had the chance to kill them off at the penalty early in the second half, and Saka's miss gave West Ham further encouragement. The crowd became kind of totally hostile towards Arsenal, but more importantly, they really got behind their team. I thought they were very iffy in the first half, but they worked themselves well into the game, got on the ball a bit more, made chances from set pieces, and ultimately got a good second goal. Not great build up. Again, it was a long throw in, flung into the box, and it broke out. Ball played back in behind, brilliant finish by Bowen. Arsenal did everything they could to try and get the winner, but weren't capable of it, weren't quite good enough to get it. So a big result for Manchester City, an important result for West Ham to get an extra point, gets them to 31, and it gives Arsenal an extra point. Manchester City on a fabulous run. Arsenal, that's still 9 games, 7 wins and 2 draws. It's still not bad form, but obviously the game to Southampton next week, home to Southampton, then away to Manchester City, which is obviously going to be such a crucial match when that match comes up.
We'll come back to Arsenal just in a couple of moments. I want to ask you about West Ham first, because you've seen a fair bit of the Hammers this season. They've underperformed. I know Moyes has got a lot of stick from supporters, but as I mentioned to you during the commentary, a lot of the players have underperformed this season. So what was different about the West Ham performance this week that saw them get that point?
Well, I think it was almost desperation today. I'm sure there wouldn't have been an awful lot of time to work on the tactics for playing Arsenal today, given they had to play on Thursday night, and their thoughts would have been on today's game as well. You just look at the selection, how many changes the manager made from last week's win over Fulham to Thursday night, and then again today, 8 changes from the team to play it. I don't think he would have wanted quite as many. I think if Agard or Agbana were fit, they would have played. But probably that's all. There wouldn't have been many other players. So he's trying to manage both competitions, but the Premier League has to be the priority. So his best team playing today. I think, was it any different than what they've done before? I wouldn't have said so. I think the desperation came in when you were 2-0 down today, and the crowd were on their house, and they had to try and find a way into the match, and it was fairly basic stuff. It was just being a bit more competitive, getting the ball into Antonio, trying to get him up the field, trying to get support from Jared Bowen and Van Rama on the left, and eventually they got there, and had a phase where they started to win some throw-ins, throw the ball into the box, some corner kicks. They got the break. In fairness to Declan Rice, he set the tone by his aggression early in the match, but he won the ball off Partey just outside the penalty area, in the one that you'd say he's no right to go and win that. He won it. We wondered whether it was a handball, or it appeared it wasn't. Fed it to Paqueta, and they got the break, then the foul, Gabriel on Paqueta. They scored a goal, narrows the gap, gives a bit of momentum to the team. Everybody starts running a bit harder, walking a bit harder. Little bit of belief comes into the side, and they eventually got that equalising goal after Arsenal missed a penalty. So not that much different from anything they've been doing before, but a big result for them today.
It is, and you think that could be the result that maybe inspires them for the rest of the season. They've got, 8 games left now in the Premier League. They've got 31 points. Do you think they will be able to get enough points between now and the end of the season to stay in the Premier League and perhaps even win that trophy in Europe?
Well, I think 38 points would be enough. usually is enough. We know we say 40 points is the golden number, but it's very rarely required to be 40 points. It's been a lot less than that in recent years, around the 36 mark, is 5:36. But I think, can you get 7 points from the last 8 games? Although they've got a difficult set of fixtures, I was looking at them earlier, Stephen, and I'm going, they've difficult fixtures. Bournemouth in good form, away to Bournemouth, but could they get something there? Of course they could. At home to Liverpool, away to Palace, that'd be a hard match. Away to City, but they haven't got a point today. Point with Aston Villa recently, beating Fulham, beat Southampton. Like they've got something from 4 of the last 5 matches, apart from the hiding by Newcastle. Newcastle's been their only defeat at home since in 2023, which is good as well. It's become a little bit of a fortress. Only got 3 home games left: Liverpool, Manchester United and Leeds. I think they'll get the points required. West Ham, are they capable of winning the conference? Yes, they are. They've got, but again, the priority has to be to win to win the battle to stay in the Premier League above winning the conference. The conference would only get them into the Europa League for next year, but it won't keep them in the Premier League if they don't get enough points.
Looking at Arsenal then, because not just the last 2 results, Brian, but it's also been a little bit concerning today when you see players like Partey, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, key players for them all this season, who maybe underperformed today. Gabriel Jesus perhaps as well. That's a little bit of a worry for them.
I'm sure it's a worry, but they've been outstanding. They've scored lots of goals. Jesus back. I think the aggression of West Ham shouldn't have surprised them, but they did look like they were rattled by as the game went on. I mean, it was all singing and dancing in the first 15 minutes when they were playing so well, but as the game went on, the physicality of Zuma, Soufal in the right back position, and even Creswell on the other side, but a lot of it was numbers as well. West Ham got numbers back. Bowen got back and helped his full back. On the other side, other side of it, Ben Rama got back and helped his full back. The midfield players were in good defensive positions when required. So is it worrying for Arsenal? I'm sure it is worrying for Arsenal that they weren't able to get the 2 wins over the line, having scored 2 goals in the first half and played so well at times that they weren't able to get the job done. But maybe that's their little bit of inexperience told in the second half. They certainly were rattled at times. I said that during the commentary. What do I mean by that? I mean that they lost composure. The defenders, the likes of Gabriel and Tierney, even White on the other side, were kicking the ball into touch where normally they would show a bit of composure, check and play it back to the goalkeeper. Ramsdale was missing once or twice when there was long balls played forward. I thought both centre backs were rattled by the aggression of Antonio. Again, what does that mean, rattled? They didn't look composed. They allowed Antonio to dictate to them. The younger players then maybe began to doubt each other and were looking for the experienced players. There's not that many really experienced players in the team. Xhaka is one, Odegaard the captain to a lesser degree. Partey is one, but he doesn't look like he's the most vocal fella, and he was having his own difficulties in the game. But I think they will look at that and say, would we have been better with Trossard starting? But instead of you couldn't put him in the head of the front 3 when in the best form. I think they'll just regroup Arsenal, look at winning the match next week. What do they
play? Southampton next week.
Southampton next week.
That has become, because they've played Man City then after that away from home. Southampton now is a must-win game.
Yeah.
And you're looking at the way Antonio bullies those centre backs.
Southampton don't have that quality.
But Erling Haaland does. You're thinking of the Man City game, thinking ahead.
Yeah.
I'd say Guardiola's looking at that game today, licking his lips.
Well, maybe, but he'll see the danger that Arsenal. He won't be judging Arsenal just on today's performance. He'll be looking at some of the stuff that Arsenal played in the first half hour today, and particularly in the first half last week, and even late in the game last week against Liverpool. They were trying to chase to win the game late on, even though Ramsdale ends up making a great save at the death. So both managers, they know each other very well. They know how each other teams will play. play. They both play in basically the same way, and I don't think he'd be over troubled about the Haaland thing. I think it'll be about, can he get his own team playing at the levels they've been playing at consistently, creating chances, defending well, getting a fair bit of possession in the middle of the field, not being pushed back on the back foot by Manchester City as they normally do. Most teams end up on the back foot against them. Unless they feel confident enough to take them on. And really, only Arsenal and Liverpool, I suppose, in the last couple of seasons have been able to take Manchester City on. Anyone else has got results against them. It's usually been playing on the counter-attack. A little bit, maybe Newcastle this year become a bit more confident. But I don't think Arsenal will want to play in the counter-attack. They'll want to have possession. It's going to be a great game when it comes, particularly if both teams win next weekend before that it's a midweek game, is it? That game?
Yep. And they have definitely qualified for the Champions League, which is the primary target for them pre-season. But I guarantee you one thing, Brian, you wouldn't pick a winner now, would you?
Between Man City and Arsenal to win the league, no, not at all. I think it'll be that match will have a crucial effect on the overall outcome. But it won't decide it either, because there'll be still each team will still have at least 5 games after that, I think. So there'll be still 15 points to play for. There won't be a 15-point lead in 2 matches' time. It'll be still down to the last couple of games with both teams needing points to either win it or to try to win it.